Hello, and welcome back. Today's recipes are incredibly simple, but so delicious at the same time. I try to keep these to 5 ingredients per meal, most of which you've probably got sitting around your kitchen this very second. For even more amazing recipe inspiration, check out the cookbook that I made, which comes out the week of posting this. Yeah, grab yourself a copy. It's really the most perfect addition to any kitchen. Links and information is down below. Also, support today comes from Squarespace. Okay, so when putting together these 5 ingredient recipes, I decided not to count water, salt, and oil. Is that cheating? Maybe. Recipe number 1 is for the most amazing red pepper and whipped hummus pasta. Even though there is hummus inside of the sauce, it tastes so much more like a rich Alfredo type of meal. It's so good. You simply have to try. Start by chopping up some garlic and bring a pot of salted water for the pasta up to a boil. In a separate saucepan, place some olive oil and turn the heat to medium. Add the garlic to the cold oil already. Once it starts sizzling, let it cook for 2 to 3 minutes. As soon as the water is boiling, you're gonna add your pasta. Then grab a blender and add all the ingredients for the sauce. That's some roasted red bell pepper from the jar, some creamy plain hummus, the garlic olive oil mixture, some soy sauce, and water. Blend this up until smooth. This was a bit more on the liquid side, and so I ended up adding the entire tub of hummus. But yeah, bring together the noodles and the sauce and plate this up. This is truly such amazing pasta. I can only repeat myself. It's going to taste a bit different depending on which brand of hummus you're using, but any kind of hummus is good hummus, you know? This next meal is super warming and cozy and honestly full of protein. Cut a block of firm plain tofu into bite-sized pieces. Transfer those to a big deep dish plate or a bowl of some sort and add about a tablespoon of cornstarch. Mix in the starch, coating the tofu from all sides. Then grab a non-stick skillet, bring it to medium-high heat together with some oil. Once the oil's hot, add the tofu chunks, allowing the tofu to cook for 6 to 8 minutes, stirring every few minutes only. Remove the tofu and set that aside. Same pot, you're gonna add a few tablespoons of your favorite ready-made pre-seasoned tomato sauce to it, along with some water and some canned rinsed chickpeas or any other bean or legume that you prefer. Bring this up to a low simmer, allowing the chickpeas to cook for a good 3 minutes or so, and then add your spinach and give that another 2 minutes. And then plate up your lazy tomato soup together with the crispy tofu. Feel free to serve this with some bread, although that would be breaking the 5 ingredient rule. And so this is merely a suggestion. Up next, we have these quite fancy looking overnight oats here. So the oats here are layered with sweetened red bean paste known as anko. If you saw my previous video, you know that I made mochi not too long ago. And so I had quite a bit of bean paste left over. And I thought it could taste nice in combination with oats and berries. And of course, I was right. The first step here is optional. It is mainly just for aesthetics to get those nice and clean layers. And so I shaped the bean paste into 2 thick little discs using my hands, the size here being similar to the diameter of the jar that I'd be using. I placed my discs of bean paste onto a sliver of parchment paper, and then I put this into the freezer for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, I combined all the ingredients for the oat layer, which that was just small cut oats, a pinch of salt, some ground up flax seeds, water, and thick soy yogurt. Also go ahead and grab some fruit that you want to add. And now onto the layering. I'm starting off with a few tablespoons of the oat mix, then adding a handful of raspberries, one of the bean paste layers, more oats, the second bean disc, more oats, and some more berries for the top. Place your jar into the fridge overnight or for at least 4 hours. So cozy. Okay, so I saw this video on Kimbap sandwiches a while ago. Kimbap or Kimbap, it often comes with a lot of different ingredients and fillings. For the sake of this video, I did quite a simple basic filling of cheesy kimchi and garlic spinach. First, cook up some small cut rice and let it cool completely. And then move on to preparing the fillings. I let some garlic cook in olive oil for about 2 to 3 minutes over medium. And then I added some spinach to it, some water, gave that another 2 minutes. Then I seasoned the spinach with some salt before removing it from the pan. Then I added some vegan kimchi next, followed by some vegan cheese. Just mixing that in, letting it melt. This took another 2 minutes. Now for this kimbap inspired sandwich, what you need is some square shaped rice. It's best to already cut square shaped pieces out of the rice and then just go in using wet hands, pressing it into more of a firm shape. You need 2 squares per sandwich and this recipe yields enough for 4. Grab a piece of cling foil and place it on top of a cutting surface. Add a piece of roasted seaweed next, rough side facing upward, and then add one of the rice squares to the center, like so. Top that with both your fillings, about a heaping tablespoon each, and last but not least, the second rice square. And now you basically fold in all the corners towards the middle. I almost overstuffed this one, but not quite. Yeah, and then you fold over the plastic wrap. This needs to be done really, really tightly so it all holds together. Flip this upside down and then you can cut this guy in half and continue on with the second one. Now I see that this recipe, it does use quite a bit of cling foil, and so to avoid that, you can of course also just make regular kimbap. That's what I did with this second batch here. I used a mixture of rice and quinoa this time because I didn't have enough rice, covering the rough side of basically my entire seaweed sheet. For the filling, I added some of the most beautiful avocado I'd ever seen, and some more of the garlic spinach mix.
I wanna turn my phone off, but that's where all my friends are. What do I do? Why is it so hard to find someone new so far away? Other days
we ended up using some of the red pepper hummus sauce that I made for the pasta earlier as a dipping sauce for our kimbap. This was next level. So this last and final recipe is a super simple, amazing toast idea, which is inspired by this suggestion that I got from Instagram. First, cut up some bread. I got some bread from a bakery recently. It was kind of hard to cut, which is only partially due to the fact that I don't have the sharpest of knives. I know I should invest in better knives one day. Anyway, as this was toasting up, I went ahead and made a little bean spread. So in a small bowl, I just mashed up some white beans using a fork. And then I added about a tablespoon of vegan cream cheese and some salt. And then spread that onto your toasted bread. Add some avocado if you like. And like the person suggested, some pickled onions to sort of stay in line with the 5 ingredient rule that I've set myself, but not really followed. You could go for pickled jalapenos or just regular pickles. Technically, if we were to be making the pickled onions from scratch, there'd be another ingredient or 2 in the mix. But to make the pickled onions, cut 2 onions into thin rings. Transfer those to a heat-proof jar and add some salt, syrup or sugar, and some vinegar. Lastly, pour in some hot water. Add your lid, make sure it's sealed very well before shaking it up and placing it into the fridge for at least an hour. This has to be my new favorite toast idea. It's so good. It's a really nice balance of flavors. Oh my god, I should totally make a video on different toast ideas, like toast topping variations. It is definitely going on my endless list of videos to make. But if you have a toast topping idea for me, leave it in the comments and I might try it. Thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait for you to see the cookbook in real life. A few people have gotten it early and everybody has had good things to say so far, so I'm pretty happy with that. Also, thanks to my sponsor Squarespace for the continued support. Create a beautiful and professional looking online presence with Squarespace. Choose from their wide range of website templates to get started. Those are divided into different categories so you can find the style that fits your brand best really easily. For example, you can add audio blogs to your site if it's a podcast that you're working on. Or if you're a video creator such as myself, you could use Video Studio, a video editing app that helps you create engaging and fun video content for all sorts of social media platforms. Get started today. Go to squarespace.com/Mina Rome and use code Mina Rome for 10% off of your first purchase of a new site or domain. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. You in the backyard of your old farm in the summer. Stayed there for 3 weeks.